Yo, guys, Happy New Year. Hopefully, you guys are continuing to stay blessed. And by the time you guys watch this video, for those that do watch these videos, man, stay safe and be blessed and Happy New Year, man. Look, man, it's almost as if people forgot how uncompetitive the Niners looked the minute this happened.
Defense as there is across the entire league. A lot of fake pressure coming. Purdy, Jack, floating in the air is it Picks? No, hit the ground. Yeah, so take a look here. This ball is clearly hit. That is an open hand. That is a fumble, Kevin.
This happened, I don't know, sometime mid or late January. Okay. And the minute Brock Purdy never re-entered the football field, I think he re-entered, but the minute he was eliminated from throwing the football, this game was no longer competitive. We could not run the ball. I think Josh Johnson had a few drives, and then he got hurt. Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo during their tenures as QBs for the Niners, it was just a short span of time, right? Jimmy proved that he wasn't the guy, that he wasn't durable. When he was healthy, man, we could win 70% of the time. But when Brock Purdy got injured, man, that was it. It didn't matter if you had Debo, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, George Kittle. No QB for the Niners. I don't even remember the final score, but it was probably 31-10, 31-7. Okay. When Brock Purdy got hurt, then this was just 9-10 months ago, all right? Or 11 months ago. Hell, maybe even 12. A year from now. This game was not competitive. Okay? The Niners stood no chance to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The minute Brock Purdy got hurt, that was it.
Yeah, so take a look here. This ball is clearly hit. That is an open hand. That is a fumble, Kevin.
The minute that injury happened, right then and there, I knew that the best player on the 49ers roster was Brock Purdy. You see? Now, I would say this. I did need a larger sample size because he was a rookie here and he didn't have a full year of football under his belt as a starter. This past September, right, 4 months ago, up to now, he's been the best player on that Niner roster. Our defense they pretty much have sucked all year, right? Their best performance was probably against the Dallas Cowboys, and since then it's waned. Nick Bosa, he doesn't look like the Bosa from last year. Once he got paid, boom. Chardavius Ward and Lenore, they look pretty impeccable. Fred Warner has regressed. We made a big splash play getting Chase Young, but I don't know. I think Colin Farrell is replacing him. Drake Jackson, I don't even know if he's on the team. Javon Hargrave comes and goes. Eric Armstead, he looked to be the best defensive lineman that we had this year. Anyway, once Brock Purdy got hurt on this game, okay, and I realized like there was no momentum on our offensive side, I realized he was the best player that the Niners had on that team. That's just what that showed. And after seeing this whole year, even though we got 1 week of football left, if I'm not mistaken, I think we play the Rams at the final year. Excuse me. I realized that the reason Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle all have 1,000-yard season is because of one man. Lucky 13. Okay? Look, guys, it's pretty simple. He should still be MVP because he's Mr. Irrelevant. Okay? Everybody hates on this dude. And all he's been doing is balling out. Now, more than likely, the safer choice, of course, is Lamar Jackson. Because it's not so much what Lamar Jackson did against the Niners. It was just pretty much what Brock Purdy did that allowed himself to just talk himself out of the MVP race, right? You just can't throw 6 or 4 interceptions. He could have had a fifth, and then there was a little screen pass that he threw to Christian McCaffrey that there was so much traffic. It could have been 6 interceptions. Now, we can blame Brock Purdy, but like always, man, I'm going to blame Kyle Shanahan. Because in the opening drive of that game against the Ravens, I mean, there was like 4 or 5 straight passes. I think one of the opening pass was to George Kittle, and he took it for like 35 yards. And there was like a 10-yard out for George Kittle again for like another 10 to 15. And then they tried to throw, I don't know, a 25, 30-yard touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel, and it was picked off, right? There might have been a run hit right then and there, but I realized what Kyle Shanahan was trying to do when the whole world was watching 20 million plus, let's just say. And, there was an MVP on the AFC, MVP on the NFC, best record from the AFC, best record from the NFC. Kyle Shanahan was trying to prove a point that Brock Purdy, this was a showcase, showing off situation. And that's exactly what they tried to do, that Brock Purdy wasn't a game manager. And boy, oh boy, did it look horrible. All right. And again, a lot of these passes, it wasn't so much that Brock Purdy looked like shit. It was just the play calling, man. I felt like sometimes at the biggest stage, kind of like Jim Harbaugh with Colin Kaepernick, knowing you got Frank Gore, you decided to throw 4 fade routes to Michael Crabtree. As if you didn't learn the lesson like the year prior or so, when like Richard Sherman tipped the ball and they went to the Super Bowl. It's almost as if we didn't learn nothing, man. Anyway, as smart as these coaches are, just do what got you there. And we got there by just running the ball and situational passing and a little bit of hero ball from Brock Purdy. Anyway, man, so it wasn't so much what Lamar Jackson did that allowed him to basically become the MVP. It was that pretty much Brock Purdy just fucked himself up, man. He took himself out of the picture by throwing 4 or 5 interceptions. And that you just can't do, man. You just can't do. A lot of the balls were competitive. Like, there could have been 50-50s. And he was just getting pressured a lot of the time. But there's an art to protecting and preserving and not causing turnovers. And Brock Purdy finally, in basically 2 years, he showed, his inexperience, right? And throughout these 2 years, man, he's been incredible. Like, he's very wise. He's what you're supposed to do. Like, he's supposed to be, Trey Lance is supposed to be what Brock Purdy is right now. A 4,000-yard passer, 30-something touchdown passes to like 10 picks. This is what Trey Lance is supposed to look like, Brock Purdy. When you trade 3 first-rounders, a second-rounder, and a third-rounder, and to move up into the draft and pick your guy, this is what Brock Purdy's supposed to look like. We didn't get that out of Trey Lance. So when people don't put things into perspective, right, they don't really know what they're talking about. Okay, guys. Brock Purdy is probably the best quarterback in the NFL, even just because he threw 4 interceptions, okay? Again, if that doesn't prove that he's not the most valuable player on that 49er roster, because of him, we lost the game. If it weren't for those interceptions, we probably win that game. And we need him to not throw those picks. Same thing as we saw when we lost against the Eagles. He was the best player on our team. And the minute he was out of the equation, we stood no chance, right? This year, he's been the best player in the NFL. If you watch from opening day all the way until this Sunday, okay, he should still probably be MVP in my book. Because unless the MVP is supposed to go to the player that's supposed to be undefeated, then there's no undefeated team in the NFL. Now you could say Lamar Jackson, okay? But if you were to compare highlights, okay, Brock is just more valuable, right? If you were to compare, not statistics, they're probably comparable. Like they probably equate to one another. Maybe Brock has a little bit more stats. I'm not too sure. But if you're able to compare, a lot of people like to say impact, but just make like, bro, you guys just have to watch. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading a little bit through these texts, and I'm still going through like being sick. But Brock Purdy is the fucking best player in the NFL, man. Okay, he's the best player in the NFL. Okay, and this past 24 years since like Steve Young when he retired, he's been the best quarterback that the Niners have had that wore the red and gold since Steve Young. He's better than Jeff Garcia. He's better than Alex Smith. He's better than Colin Kaepernick, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo. In this modern era, Brock Purdy is the best quarterback that the Niners have had since those Super Bowl winners and Hall of Famers and Steve Young and Joe Montana. Okay. We only go as far as Brock Purdy takes us. And that is to say on the NFC, right? And the National Football Conference, because the NFC is pretty weak. Aside from like 4 teams, there's not much talent in terms of the quarterback play on the NFC side, right? Everybody and the most talent is in the AFC. You know, even if Joe Burrow were healthy, the Bengals would be in there. Same thing with the Cleveland Browns, Miami Dolphins, you know, Buffalo Bills. And if the Jets had a fucking quarterback, they would probably be a top player in the conference as well. All the talent is in the AFC, right? The best quarterback and the MVP in the National Football League should be Brock Purdy because, and this is my last final point, he was chosen last to the point where he was almost going to be undrafted. Okay, it makes a lot of sense that Lamar Jackson is putting up MVP like numbers. You know why? He's their franchise quarterback. He got paid, I don't know, $300 million contract. He was a first rounder. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. It makes sense why he wins Super Bowls and he's supposed to be. He was chosen in the first round. He's a $500 million man. Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant. He was chosen last. He was one pick away from being undrafted. Okay? And it's not that the Niners found a steal. They were about, like the rest of the NFL, not to draft the dude that was lighting up in his college history. Excuse me. The Mexican G, bro. Salute to you, man. And Happy New Year, dog. Mayweather and Pacquiao are having a rematch. Excuse me. Yeah, man. I hope not. Then Mayweather would beat him again. You know, at least Mayweather is fighting exhibition matches, and at least Mayweather is, you know, having tune-ups. And I don't even know when's the last time Pacquiao has fought. I know he's fighting soon. I know there was some news that came out that he was gonna be fighting. I don't know, somebody, but I don't really care about Mayweather and Pacquiao, man. I want the legends to, you know, live comfortably and kind of forget about boxing. You know, like you guys gave us all your years. Be a fucking trainer. You know, run your own promotional company like they are doing, right? Mayweather's got, I don't know, Mayweather Promotions, Rolly, possibly Tank on roster. Pacquiao's got, you know, a few badass fighters on his roster. Like, just keep building your stable, you know, build your own broadcasting, team up with pro box, like leave the boxing to the young guys, man. Be trainers. Like I don't know about you guys, but I would love to see Mayweather train like a Devin Haney, like a Shakur Stevenson. I would love to see Pacquiao train, you know, an up and coming prospect. Like train the prospects from the Olympics and then help them win gold or help them become champions, you know? Like imagine seeing Manny Pacquiao train a Virgil Ortiz or Mayweather train I don't know who's in up and like Abdullah Mason. That would be fucking amazing. I'm tired of watching these guys of the past year fight. Pay-per-view, like ain't nobody trying to see fucking Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro, you know, on a grudge match situation. Like ain't nobody got time for that. Like who cares? Since you want to talk boxing a little bit, Dmitry Bivol said if he were to beat Artur Beterbiev and get all the belts, that there would be nothing left to do in boxing for his career. And this is why we got to appreciate the Canelo Alvarez of the world, because they don't just stop after being the guy in one division. You see? Like Triple G, same as Bivol. Bivol will never move up to cruiserweight and fight the guys like Jay Opataya or even try to go up to heavyweight. Bivol would never. Canelo would. I think this is Canelo's 5th or 6th weight class. And this is why those pound for pound fighters, or I want to say American fighters, right? Whether it's North America, South America, whatever, it's just America as a continent. The fact that there's more pressure for them to move up in multiple divisions, where in our counterparts like the Eastern European, there really isn't that pressure to, fluctuate up in weight. Like no one really forced Triple G to move out of middleweight division. The minute he tried, or Abel Sanchez spoke 154, 168, Triple G was like, no, I never said this. Same thing with Bivol. Like, bro, move up to cruiserweight. Go fight Jai Opataya. Maybe try heavyweight. But they know their limitations. Unfortunately, Canelo never understood that metric. But, even like the Manny Pacquiao's of the world and the Naoya Inoue, they're fluctuating up in weight. It's incredible to see. We got to put those guys on a higher pedestal than just one fighter that dominates one weight class, right? Especially if we go by the metric of and definition of pound for pound. But anyway, man, I wanted to come out here and shoot the shit with Drew and talk Niner football, but I just want to pose a couple of questions. I do believe in Brock Purdy. The Niners will go to the Super Bowl, right? Now, whether we win it, it depends who we play. On top of me believing in Brock Purdy, I also believe that he should still be MVP because he's Mr. Irrelevant. Let me go to a little side point, if I may. Check this out, guys. We all played football in elementary school. We all played basketball in elementary school. The last kid that was picked last was because he was the suckiest kid, or he gave the perception that he was either the most unathletic, or he lacked confidence, or you knew that he just wasn't, an athlete. Whether it was street football, playing with the boys, or street basketball, or, during recess. The kid chosen last was usually the worst player, right? That's just what happens. Brock Purdy, by all 32 teams, okay, they saw him as the worst football player coming out of college. Okay. Out of all the players that you can select, the way Brock Purdy has played in his 2 years as a football QB, he's basically the most valuable player in last year's draft class. You guys understand what I'm saying? Brock Purdy is the best quarterback because, and he's the MVP, the most valuable player, because he was chosen last. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He was picked 262 or whatever the fucking number he was. Okay? That's why he deserves to be MVP. Because Lamar Jackson has played like it. But he just gets the hump over the Niners or Brock Purdy because he beat you on Christmas Day. Okay. Which is incredible, you know? But it wasn't so much that what Lamar's Jackson's play was, right? It was more about like Brock Purdy throwing 4 fucking interceptions, bro. Like, you just can't do that. You know, it's like if you took the girl of your dreams out on a date and she said yes. And you guys are holding hands and eating popcorn at the movie theater. Everything is going well, right? And then movie ends, you guys had a good time, and you're gonna give her the kiss right before she's about to leave. And then you just keep talking and talking, and she's giving you the clues. You know, she's playing with her hair and she's looking at you, giving you that epic eye contact. And what do? You don't go for it. You're so nervous. You keep talking yourself out of it. And then her dad finally pulls up and, you know, takes her home, and you missed out an opportunity to seal the deal, right? It's basically what happened here with Brock Purdy. You just can't throw those interceptions, man. But look, guys, I just kind of want to end it short. I do believe in the Niners. The Niners will go to the Super Bowl. Not so much even that the Niners are the best team in the NFL, because they're not. It's just that I trust Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. I trust the Niner defense. The Niners are the most complete team on the NFC side of the, of the conference. When it comes down to the AFC, man, bro, you don't want to face the Cleveland Browns. You might not want to face the Buffalo Bills. You don't want to face those teams. And in the NFC, you might not want to face the LA Rams. They might just steal your thunder. But yeah, guys, I wanted to get in here live real quick and just shoot the shit for a little bit. But looks like Drew's not gonna hop on. Damn shame, because I asked him if he wanted to talk football. Motherfucker said he did. And all of a sudden he didn't want to. Nah, man. But on that note, man, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys stay blessed. And I'm excited for the early 2024. There's a lot of good fights. And hopefully the quest for 6 ends with the hands of a 49er player wearing red and gold. Okay. Obviously, the best team in the NFL are the Baltimore Ravens. They're looking scary, man. And if Mark Andrews comes back, the connection that Lamar Jackson has had with the wide receivers, Odell Beckham's only going to look better. He's a sleeper on that team, by the way. You know, Isaiah Likely, he's really good. Y'all saw that one-hander that he took for like 40 yards. You know, Zay Flowers is a smooth rookie, really good. I mean, he's not no CeeDee Lamb, but he's like what Hollywood Brown is supposed to be for the Cardinals. Look, guys, from a defensive standpoint, I expected the Niners to be undefeated this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I looked at the beginning of the season, I knew the Cleveland Browns, I knew the Cincinnati Bengals, if healthy, I knew the Jacksonville Jaguars, and a few other teams were going to be tough. I only realized that the Niners would lose maybe 4 to 6 games out of the year, right? If they were going to lose games, it would be those games. But after seeing how much millions, $100 million players that they have, right, on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball, with as many first rounders that they have on the defensive side of the ball, I'm not gonna lie, whatever the record is at the end of the year, whether it's 12-5 or 13-4 or 13-5, whatever the record's gonna be, I think that was a letdown. I expected this Niners team to really be undefeated, right? With the names that we have, I expected our defense to be better than the 2000 Baltimore Ravens when they had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. That was the expectation that I had on the Niners, because I was like, bro, you got your corners, you got your safeties, you got that defensive line, and then now you added Chase Young. Like, you better be allowing teams to only score, 13 points and less on average. And we couldn't even do that. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm like, damn, Kyle, you have all the toys possible, bro. You got Debo, you got Trent, you got your QB Brock that you wish was supposed to be Trey Lance. You know, you paying him like $1 million a year, and bro, this is your fucking team right here, and we still can't pull an undefeated season. You know what I mean? That was the only thing that I was let down because again, we talked about this in the past. You know, I've seen teams do far more with way less. Look at the Patriots. Look what happened when you gave Tom Brady a Randy Moss. They're undefeated and they went to the Super Bowl, right? And that's all he had. He had a couple of cool little weapons, but they didn't have a Debo. They didn't have a Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? They had an older version of Randy Moss, not even a prime Randy. And Tom Brady still threw for. I mean, I don't know, guys. Yo, but on that note, man, Brock Purdy will lead the Niners to the Super Bowl. You know, I would say just be careful with the Rams and maybe the Lions. Obviously, when you play the Cowboys, they're not going to get beat 42-10 or whatever it is that we beat them in week 3. They're going to be a little more competitive. But as long as you just double team CeeDee Lamb, I think that's pretty much game. I mean, you don't got to be scared of Tony Pollard, the tight end Ferguson, Brandon Cooks. I mean, those guys are lightweight, bro. Like CeeDee Lamb, that dude's a dog, and that's all you got to worry about, man. Yo, on that note, Happy New Year, guys. I'll see y'all next year. Well, not in 3 hours, but I'll see you later in January. But yeah, man, stay safe. And hopefully, when we do speak football again, the Niners got that 6th Lombardi trophy added to the collection. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. I'm outie. Adam Hurley, Happy New Year to you as well, brother. And man, stay safe. Drink some good champagne or wine or alcohol, whatever it is that you're celebrating with, man. Stay safe. Eat some good food. And yeah, man, I can't wait to talk boxing with all you guys all over again. And I can't see, maybe, brother, maybe. I'm trying to well, I gotta clean up my garage, right? I'm fixing up this, old school show car vehicle. And but I really want to go live and like set up my cameras and my lighting with like a backdrop and make it like more official, you know what I mean? I think it'll be more personable rather than just me like, I don't know, screen sharing and just showing a little icon, right? But on that note, guys, hopefully I'm a little better with my voice. I know the energy's kind of off a little bit just because I'm sick and it's very hard for me to breathe and speak. But yeah, man, Mr. Adam Hurley, thank you for tuning in, brother. Have a good night. You as well, the Mexican G. Happy New Year's, guys. Salute to you and your families, and I'm wishing you guys nothing but great health and spirit, man. But yeah, God bless all of y'all, man, and I'll see y'all. I want to say maybe at the Virgil Ortiz fights or so. Yeah, I gotta check the boxing calendar, man. But I'm excited for what's to come. Stay safe out there, guys.